Okay, so you're here to practice the properties of equality, and what we're going to be practicing is taking a look at what is happening to the equation as we solve it and figure out why are we allowed to do that step, what is the name of the property that is happening in that step. So we're going to do the first problem all the way through together, and then I'm going to encourage you to do the next problem and come back to check until you're done with all 4 problems. Okay, so we start off with this problem. We have 2x plus 3 plus 7 equals 4x plus 2. And the first thing it looks like, instead of having 2x and 3 together, they then put 3 and 7 together. So this is not one of the property of equalities, but it is one of the properties that you know. And this is actually addition property of association. So addition property associative. So that's just changing the grouping when you're adding, okay? But I want to take a look at this second step, this next step. So the way I'm checking what the step did is I'm checking to look for what's different. So one thing, I know they added 3 plus 7, that's how they got 10. But for some reason, there's a negative 2x here that was not here before, and it's also over here. So what it looks like to me is they subtracted 2x from both sides. And when we subtract the same amount from each side, we call that subtraction property of equality. Okay, so now these next 2 steps is they're just kind of combining like terms, making it simpler, so that's why we don't have to write anything here. But then in this part, we go from 10 equals 2x plus 2, and then all of a sudden we have 10 minus 2, and I have minus 2 here. So what I'm looking at here is I have minus 2 in both of these places, and I just said when we subtract the same amount from both sides of an equation, it's because we are using subtraction property of equality. So write that down here as well. Okay, so again, we have some combining things here. They did 10 minus 2 is 8, and they did 2 minus 2 is 0. And we're left with 8 equals 2x. And then I can see very clearly what they did here is they divided both sides by 2. When you divide both sides of an equation by the same amount, this is called division property of equality. Okay, so if I can take the time to write this down, so can you. No excuses. Okay, so take a look at the second problem, which we have here. It pretty much ends on this page. There's a couple things on the next page, but you don't have to write anything. So what you need to do is you need to write what property is being used to get these parts of solving the equation. Come back when you think you have the answer so we can check it together.